Okay. Well, today we're going to talk to you a little bit about something that I'm really excited about. As you know, Natasha bought this end of the world from Mark, and we have 5 counties where we do business in. And any chapter that comes up in that area is Natasha's, just like Mark owns a geographical area, and he's our neighbor. I've worked with Mark for a long time, and now I'm helping Natasha grow this group over here. We currently have 3 chapters and a core group that we're starting up. Well, as you can guess, we're obviously trying to grow, just like everybody talks about it all the time. I know there are a lot of members on here, so you're going to be you didn't know it, but by getting on this call, you're going to be the drivers in helping this same type of activity go on in Mark's region. We decided we were going to do a Visitors Day. You know, I don't know if any of you have done a Visitors Day or been a part of it before. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter. It applies all the time to everybody. So the first thing I want to do is start by reading a poem. And this is a poem that I also read to our entire region, because we are doing a regional Visitors Day. And I'm going to tell you the difference in that in just a minute. So, but I want you to get your mind wrapped around this and get your right mindset. So I'm going to read this poem that I read to the entire region about Visitors Day, and it's called The Man in the Glass. When you get what you want in your struggle for self and the world makes you king for a day, just go to a mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father, your mother, or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. Some people may think you are a straight shooting chum and call you a wonderful guy. But the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look at him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear up to the end. And you have passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down your own pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass. But your final reward will be the heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. And you might ask yourself, why would I read something like that and talk about Visitors Day? Sorry, Trish. You know, we talk about BNI being different, and it's about accountability. And the accountability starts with each one of us. I don't know how many of you, but you want me to make an introduction. Sorry, Mark. I am Mary Alice Kibita with Platinum Copier Solutions. Sorry. I am a member of the BNI All-Stars, and I'm a director consultant for Natasha over here in this part of the world. And I've been an area director consultant for Mark as well, so I know probably a lot of you on the call. So sorry about that. Mark's chatting with me. So you're probably asking yourself, why would I read something like that? You know, BNI is about accountability, and that's what truly makes it different. But I would ask you, how many of you are meeting or exceeding minimum expectations when it comes to visitors? And I don't expect you to answer, but I really want you to ask that question. I would say the majority of the people on the call are not meeting or exceeding minimum expectations for visitors. Why are visitors important? Do they grow chapters? Absolutely. Every time a visitor comes to our chapter, you got to remember that there is a value of that visitor, whether they're a visitor or guest, and they know an average of 200 people. I want to know those people because they may know my best next referral, right? So if we don't bring visitors in the room every week consistently, and it is different right now, but that's not a reason not to do it. So we decided we were going to do a Visitors Day. Everybody knows when you have visitors in the room, it creates a different chemistry, and the meetings are better and they're more exciting, and typically people get business. I think a visitor's or a guest value is about $1,500 a year to our members because they're going to do business with somebody in that chapter. So it's important. So we started talking to everybody about, okay, you signed up to be a member and to be accountable and to get the most out of this networking thing. So one of the responsibilities, we talk about attendance, we talk about CEUs, we talk about all the other things, but we always, for whatever reasons, just we really don't talk about it. And it's kind of the elephant in the room. It is your responsibility as a member to have an average of 1 visitor per month in a 4-week month, or 1.25 or 2 in a 5-week month. And if everybody is doing that, you never have to worry about your chapter size or your chapter getting below 20 or any of those issues. When you have more people, you have more referrals, you have more closed business, you have a good synergy, you have a lot of great things going on. So, and the referrals are big. And we got some people today that are going to talk a little bit about what's happened with them in following this recipe that BNI calls a Visitors Day. And a Visitors Day basically is a very strategic plan to put a ton of visitors in the room on a specific day. So you can change the slide, Trish. So our meeting agenda, this is kind of what I presented to each one of the chapters. We did welcomes and introductions, and we talked about the benefits of BNI. First of all, you have to understand that not everybody is going to become a BNI member, and that's okay. But we do always need to talk about the benefits of BNI because people don't know it unless we talk about it. And then we talked about what successful chapters do and the 8 mistakes they need to avoid. We talked about reinforcing commitments and teamwork because it's not fair for 20% of the people to do all of the work. We talked about what a successful visitor day might look like, what the chapter's vision is. The chapter needs to have some goals and communicate to their members what the expectations are and then hold them accountable. And then in this particular case, we had training moments and we closed. Okay, so this is actually kind of the agenda I presented to the chapters when we introduced the Visitors Day. So next one, Trish. You know, in the meeting, we obviously talked about core values, and you can pick out whichever core value you really want to drive home. I would, in this case, because of its Visitors Day, and you're holding everybody accountability. Accountability is a good one. Next. Okay, BNI benefits. Obviously, BNI has a structured, organized meeting to give and get referrals. Strategy for growing your business and making it profitable. And it's a strategy for attending other networking functions. You can tell BNI members in any networking event, especially those that are not BNI related. If they're a chamber event, a BBB event, or any of those other events, you can tell the BNI people because they're strategic and they're doing things different because they have networking skills that have been developed. Next. A global network that will always be there to help you when you need it. Bonnie's going to talk to you in just a little bit. Bonnie has taken advantage of this online platform probably better than anybody I know. She's doing videos for people all over, maybe even the world. I know definitely in the country because she's taken this opportunity and understood that this is a global network and she can do it from the comfort of her home. So we sometimes forget to talk about that. That's a big deal. Next. So one of the things that I love to use, and Mark taught me this well, to use our policies and procedures brochures and talk about code of ethics or the policies. And I'm sure that you all know what policy number 6 is, and it's that members are required to bring bona fide referrals and or visitors to their chapter of BNI. Chapters may establish a minimum number of referrals and or visitors that is acceptable to maintain membership. So we didn't tell anybody they had to do anything, but we strongly encourage and explain the benefits and help them understand that it is an expectation of your membership to meet the minimum expectations of visitors, which is 1 a month, which is 1 more than what Mark likes to say, a dead man. Okay, so you don't apologize for that, and don't let people make excuses or deflect on why they shouldn't do it, because it is one of the minimum expectations. And I would challenge membership committees to really understand that and embrace that, and you'll fix the culture of inviting and having visitors in the room. Next. So what do successful chapters do? They have a clear vision. So as this relates to, you have all these goals for all these minimum expectations, but you should also have a very clear vision of, if you're going to do a Visitors Day, you have to let people know the value, because when they understand the value, they'll make the commitment. If we do this work, what should I expect? Do we have 50 people in the room? Do we have 100? What is a realistic expectation? And then how many of those do we anticipate will apply? And then how many contacts do they bring? So you have to build that to help people understand the value of it by having a clear vision. And you build your chapter with contact spheres and fill your chapter list. This is no secret. This is nothing new, but I sell office equipment. So I know who is in my contact sphere. And if I look at my chapter and I know what professions are not in my chapter, I should strategically target those professions and invite them to fill the room with those people, because then they're going to not only help me, but they're going to help a lot of other people in the room. So it needs to be strategic in what you do. Go ahead. Meet weekly. Obviously, we meet weekly. Don't apologize for that. I mean, those people that don't want to meet weekly, it's not for BNI. And I can tell you, when I first saw BNI, one of my biggest concerns was what? Meeting weekly. I got over that pretty quick, right? That's one of the best things about BNI, is because you get to visit with your friends and your referral partners and the people that are patting your pockets every week. And that is a cool thing. It's a get to, not a have to. So what are some of the things that chapters need to avoid and not make this mistake? Trying to please everyone. Some will, some won't, so what? Move on. If they're not the right person, it'll take care of itself. Don't beg anybody to come to a meeting. I just got off a call with another chapter a while ago, and they were saying, well, I had somebody said that they couldn't do this and they couldn't meet the expectations, so they weren't even going to come to a meeting. I said, well, what was your response? Well, they go into all the reasons they should be in BNI. I said, you don't even know if they're a good fit. Don't do that. Just say to them, I have a room full of awesome referral partners that I would love for you to meet. Would you like to come meet them? Period. It's simple as that. Don't beg anybody to do anything. When people don't meet minimum expectations, guys, Mark has heard me. I've had this conversation with him, and I preach it in our region over here. You know, I don't even look at the color anymore. I don't care if you're in the green, the red, the yellow. I look at the number. Where are you at? If you're okay being at a 70 because it's green, you might want to look in the mirror, because if you are only at a 70 on the Power of One report, you're leaving 30% of some opportunity on the board. And I don't know what that is, but you have to answer that. I know if I brought a 70 home when I was in school, I would have been in trouble. But we're okay with being at a 70 in a Power of One report, even though we're leaving 30% of the points on the board. So I would say, you know, got to meet expectations. I mean, and everybody needs to do it, not just some people. Next, tolerate spectators. Mark talks about this and relates it to sports activities all the time. If you got a jersey on, it better be dirty if you're playing ball with me. I mean, that's just the way I feel. You're not gonna have a whole lot of credibility with me, and you're not gonna get my referrals. So don't be a spectator, and don't allow membership committees to tolerate that. Tolerate people who are thinking it over. If they're a BNI member, they should have already thought it over and should already be on the field playing. So, you know, just have conversations with people and don't let them be just thinking it over. Consider people who think I can do BNI, I can do without BNI. Well, I know a bunch of people, I could give you their names and numbers, that thought they could do better without BNI. It just doesn't work. I mean, it's okay if they don't want to make the commitment, because it is a commitment, but BNI works, and I've been doing it since '08. So I could tell you some stories about why you can't do without it. Next, making exceptions. Everybody wants an exception, right? But I'm the director consultant. I need to have an exception. No, I better be doing better than most, because people look at my numbers just like they do anybody else's. So don't let people make exceptions. Next, let the group act like a BNI chapter. You know, everybody follows the policies and procedures. If you don't, you're gonna get off the roadmap and you're gonna trash your chapter. Don't let that happen. And there's one more. The last one is rushing education at the end. Education is one of the core values in BNI, and it's what really makes BNI what it is, and it's what makes all this work. The recipe works, and it's because it's continual education. You guys are sitting on a call at lunchtime because you're wanting to learn something, so it's very important. Okay, next. So at this point, after they give their little testimony, I'm gonna let these 4 people talk just a little bit about what we're doing in Visitors Day, and then I'm gonna tell you how to have a successful Visitors Day. What I just did was kind of give you the rationale and the thinking behind why we needed to commit to a Visitors Day. And we've strategically picked 4 people in our region, and they're going to talk to you about participating in it, what it already has, what's happened for them. And we haven't even had the Visitors Day yet. It's next week. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. But I wanted you to hear some of their testimonials first, and then I'll talk about how do you go back to your chapters and say, hey, we need to do this Visitor Day thing. Okay. So Bonnie, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I'm not real sure what I'm supposed to say, but I'll just tell you how it's been for me. We had good ideas and good ways, you know, the strategic planning that she was talking about, inviting people in your sphere and all that. So I made my list, but then I got out my business cards from networking events, and I just started inviting everybody. That many will never do business with me, but they all need the help, and they will do business with other members. And so I ended up, I don't know why, mailing 90 letters.
Bonnie, what was the minimum expectation?
40? Was it 40? Yeah. That was crazy, but I did. I got 1 back out of 90, and she's out of business. I called her, she had already gone out of business. I did get some emails back. I did not call all 90. But I emailed all 90. And I did call many. So in that process, I picked up 2 new projects, one with a returning customer, one with a new customer, and just reconnected with a lot of people that I hadn't connected with in a long time. And it taught me to remember to connect, and it taught me how to invite, not just for Visitors Day, because I've struggled with that. I've struggled with getting visitors. But now through this process, I've learned another way to invite that's effective. I think I have sent out 12 registrations through BNI Connect. I think, and that's just getting started. I haven't even got to all of them. I don't know that they're all going to come, but if I got all 12 done for the year, not really, just kidding. But that would help my numbers a lot. And so the whole process has just taught me, again, BNI is so educational. It has taught, I've been learning to be strategic in my networking events and in all the things that we've been doing. BNI has taught me, but this again has taught me even more that I could be even more effective in another way of inviting visitors. And I'm excited. I was excited from the beginning. I think that's why I sent out 90. I forgot that I had to call all of them and email all of them, but I did get the emails out, and I've gotten a really good response from everybody. So I'm still excited, and I think it's going to be a great for all 3. I've had several that can't come to mind, so I send them invites to all 3. So whichever one they can go to, they can go to. So I don't know. I think, does that cover it, Mary Alice?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. So that's just one person's, and Bonnie had never done a Visitors Day before, ever. And she's really very coachable and has a great attitude and has been learning a lot about BNI. So this was just sitting out there waiting for an opportunity where she struggled with visitors. Now we've kind of fixed that for her, because I don't think she'll ever struggle again.
No.
So
I don't either.
Yep. So who do we have next up there on that slide? It went away for me. Trish.
Kelly.
Okay, Kelly.
All right, I'm Kelly Klaczynski. I own Floor Care and Interior. I'm a flooring chair at the BNI All-Stars in the Beaumont area. I was asked to come on today, and a lot of what I kind of want to talk about is almost everything Mary Alice kind of taught. And so I've got the privilege of being in the chapter with her, so I'm very well taught. And I utilized that training that she just spoke of, because I went into it with a different attitude, an attitude that was negative. And so I love watching a show called Deadliest Catch. And on the side of one of the ships, Captain Wild Bill, he's got a saying, say, attitude is everything. And I'm going to say, in this process, attitude is everything. make lemonade. And that's the number one thing I had to say is I had to get my attitude right. And I had to stop and think and remember what we're about. We're about two words, givers gain. And I had to stop and think that because we're now on Zoom, we don't have the power of being in a room and that teamship, that brotherhood of being next to someone where we all say at the same time, givers gain. That actually is a good thing that we do. That helps boost your attitude. So my 2 cents is this: use and apply your work ethic. So that's what makes us a great BNI member. I consider myself and everybody that I'm looking at and everybody in BNI, you're an elite in your field. So stand up, stand out, and stand strong, just like you do for your own business or your employer if you work for somebody. Remember, when you send out letters, this is something that that made me change my attitude. Was when I mailed those letters, I looked at that envelope. It was my name, my company name on that letterhead, not BNI. So whatever I do, I was representing me. I was representing floor care and interior. And I'm passionate about my business. I do my business and I do it well. So remember, when you're sending your letters, do it well. When you're making your phone calls, which is a hard thing to do. A lot of people don't cold call in the flooring business. We don't cold call. It's not the way we do it. We inform, we educate, and we sell that away. So this is the same process. Do it passionately. Another thing is, another attitude, part of your attitude is, I want y'all to understand, we pay, us as members, we pay our hard-earned dollars and more importantly, our valuable time to make BNI work for us. These are things I make on what Mary Alice has just said to us very eloquently. So it works for us. Who is us? It's each other. So when we do this, we're doing this for each other. And by that, trust the BNI method. This method, a lot of smart people have put a lot of time and effort in to making this system work. And so trust it. It works. Utilize it with the right attitude. And again, I'm going to say, don't forget, givers gain. Take this opportunity. We have a partner. We're assigned a partner. And I had him come to my office and say, now, you're going to call my customers because I believe in power in numbers. But before that, I let my customers know. When I called them, I said, you're going to get another call. And I used that opportunity to build up my partner, Givers Gain. I said, his name is Jordan Nast. He's with Journey Business Solutions. And I said, he does the credit card machine thing. Well, if you're in business, you know, you get calls, you get cold calls, probably multiple a day, and they're annoying. And so the poor guy, I'm like, you know, he's got to have the toughest job in the world. So I immediately turned that into a positive. I said, I use him. The guy is amazing. I said, he's probably someone you're going to need to listen to for your business. Whether you have a credit card machine or not, this guy, I switched to him because he is amazing. I'm actually making money on my credit cards. That got their attention. Now I give credibility to my partner and BNI member. Because of that, he has already gotten, and it was amazing because I got 2 back to back. He's going to get them as clients. Just for saying that to be expecting a call. So it was important. I had Jordan come to my store. You're going to make the call because you're going to be the voice to the name that I mentioned that we'll be calling. You're going to give yourself credibility. I see you write down, and he was steadily putting these contacts in his phone, and he's going to call them back. If he outperforms his people in his business, he's going to get a new car and for doing this. So again, there is power in numbers. The memberships equal strengths. I'm going to tell you an example. Here's my 12 months. I have received almost $250,000 in referral business that I would not have gotten had it not been for BNI. 12 months. But here's the beauty of Givers Gain. I've given almost $750,000 in the same 12-month period, almost, because it's about Givers Gain. So I have roughly 40 members in our chapter, and I cross give to other chapters. We have another group that I utilize them, some members in other chapters. I search out BNI. When I think of a business, I think of BNI. So this is an opportunity, and sell it professionally when you offer it. This is an elite group. You're a member, treat it like that. The worst thing you can do, and one of the eights is, and I want to add this to Mary Alice's don't say this. Don't say, look, just sign up, but you don't have to come. Don't discredit that. That lowers the credibility of BNI and you. Why would you tell somebody that? I heard somebody mention that. I thought, why would you make the bad decision of joining a group that you really are trying to encourage them to do something that they don't really want to have to do? No, you encourage it. You're still going to get no's. That's okay. Don't discourage, and as Mariana says, don't beg. Leave yourself on the top shelf. We are considered top shelf business people. Stay there. Let them desire to reach us, and always represent them and attack it like you do your own business. Make it worthwhile. Make it be passionate about it, and it begins with attitude. And so I approach that, and I have gotten people that I would have bet a paycheck that would not have come. I said, well, I made my list of people. I said, well, these guys aren't going to join. The one guy I would have bet my life on wouldn't have come. He was the most excited about coming. I signed him up, picked his day. He's not coming to my chapter. He's going to the networkers. He's going to be a visitor there. A lot of them, I gave them options. We got 3 groups, said, let's pick our day. Let's get you registered. Majority of them are going to other chapters because it was more time friendly for them. So, but it's important that they get to the meeting and hear the BNI message. It might be something, like you said, they might hear they need a flooring company or whatever it is that your business does. They might need an attorney. They might be right in the middle of something they're having an issue with, and bam, here you are. And then that works for them, and then they join the business, they join the group. So that's what that's what I've got out of this. It's really encouraged me to approach this with a positive way, because I'm honest, I'm not good at electronics and computer stuff. So I can invite people and bring them all day long. This was a challenge to me, but I decided I'm gonna give it exactly what I've been trained to do, and I'm gonna do my job. And it has really surprised me, and has encouraged me, and has gotten me excited about this event.
Kelly, I appreciate you saying that. And just for you guys to know, and I'm saying this because Kelly's told everybody, Kelly was very, very frustrated. This is crazy. This isn't going to work. And so we had to work on that a little bit. And he still gets a little frustrated, but it's okay, because those are the kind of people like Kelly. When he sees the value, he was ready to make the commitment, and it's been a game changer for him. And it's been fun to watch. So that's why it was important for Kelly, because he's just not that person that says, yeah, I'm in for everything. You know, he's going to push back a little bit, and that's okay. So I wanted you to know that it's not just a bunch of people we're putting up here that's just been, yeah, let's go from the very beginning. It's been a process, but what we're doing is changing the culture in our region for inviting, because we shouldn't have to have these massive visitors days to get our membership rolling right? It should be every day. And when people understand the value and they do it every day, it's going to be okay. So I think up next is Charlie O. Charlie.
Good morning. My name is Charlie Ozan. I'm with Moore Auto Group in Silsbee, home of your warranty, your lifetime engine warranty. I hold the automotive chair in this chapter. And when we came to discussing about the Visitors Day, Mary Alice and Natasha brought it before us. The first thing that hit my mind was, now this is crazy. This is, I guess, kind of like Mary Alice just said about Kelly. This is not going to work. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I've been in BNI less than a year. And the one thing that I've really struggled with is inviting. And inviting was this. I was thinking in my mind, who is going to do this? Not who needs an opportunity, but who is going to do BNI? Well, luckily for me, when I was invited, they didn't say, hey, well, he's not going to do, he won't do, he won't. the first thing that I did was I sat there and I argued with myself about, I don't know 40 people that I talk to on a regular basis. I don't know 40 people that's going to want to join right now. We've got this pandemic going on. Why are we doing? But we're having one of our BNI All-Star meetings, and I'm listening to Mary Alice, and I'm listening to Natasha, and I'm listening to Kelly. I'm also listening to Bonnie and listening to others in our All-Star group. And then I realized that I'm thinking about this all wrong. I'm not looking at this as, it's not a sales pitch from me. It's an opportunity. Looking back now, I told y'all I'm in the car business. The best person for me to talk to is one that you have referred to me. First, they feel like they know me, and there's a barrier that's broke down because Mary Alice did refer someone to me. That barrier of me trying to find common ground with the customer is already kind of knocked down a little bit. But as I look in the BNI and I'm looking at the first thing I did was grab all my business cards. Being 26 years in the car business, I have a stack of business cards. A lot of them were no longer in business. But I said, hey, look, this guy that does house painting and this guy does this, there's all kind of avenues. And for the company I work for, I do a lot of their advertising. And what better way to advertise than have 30 to 40 businesses that are sitting there, and when somebody does business with them, they say, hey, look, if you need a way to go, you call Charlie O. He will help you in Silsbee. May not have the vehicle you're looking for, but he can tell you who's got it. Okay? So that referral to me is so much better. And then I'm finding that once I did my mail list, and then you call them, there's a lot of people out there struggling for their advertising right now. And what better way to do a Zoom meeting? Doesn't cost us a fortune. What better way to get new clients? Because, if you have a business, the last thing you want to do is say, hey, look, well, I've got 200 clients here and that's all I'm going to have from now on. No, you always want to add one or two. And this is a way that BNI can add. Hey, I don't expect 40 people out that I know to join BNI. But if one comes and finds out, hey, Natasha is who I need to talk to. That's the lady that can rebuild my business for me. Hey, then this is all worked out. Mary Alice, I wish I could help you with a whole lot more, but basically, guys, I'll just say this. If you'll believe and buy into BNI, it will help you. Coming from a person who struggled for a year to get any visitors in the door. Thanks, Mary Alice.
Thank you, Charlie. We appreciate you. Okay, and the last person that we're going to have on here is going to be Scott Mays. And I want Scott to talk because, did he get on, Natasha? Okay,
I'm on.
Because Scott not only is one of the few people in the region that consistently meets minimum expectations with visitors, but he's also our vice president of one of our oldest chapters in the area. And we shared yesterday in the chapter success meeting, pleasantly surprised about just the participation and what's happening. So he's excited about it because he's one of those guys that doesn't want to be the only one inviting visitors all the time, right? So Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about what you've experienced?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mary Alice. I'm Scott Mays, Mays Wood Flooring and Designs. I am in the BNI Southeast Texas Networkers, and I believe I'm somewhere between 5 and 6 years. I'm the vice president, and I do strive and work very hard to have 100% each month. I believe it's important that leaders lead. That's just the way it is. And so I think we are a little over 92% of participation in this. Not everyone has met the minimum 40, but 92% has made an assertive effort to get involved. And I will tell you, a lot of this has been David, probably more David Thornhill, our president, more so than myself. But David has been very encouraging. He's been challenging our leaders. That's one of the things David and I and Gabe, our secretary treasurer, has challenged the leaders that we would start with us. And what we've seen a culture that Mary Alice talks about over and over, that a culture of helping one another. And I think maybe Emily had been finished, Emily Lopez, our Mary Kay lady, had finished first. And so her natural response was to go and help others. Well, she went and helped someone else, And then that someone was helping, and we're on the Telegram app, and everyone on the Telegram app was getting help. And so real quickly, we had 2/3 of the group finished with their letters. And so then we saw the other third. And so that's where the leaders had to get in and call and get involved with those. And so we called out, thought, oh man, here's, as the VP, you know, we're the heavy, you got to be the hammer, and you got to call people and try to encourage them. And, you know, I'm thinking the worst, we're going to run people out. But what we found was, you know, people valued their chairs. And I talked to them about their VCP. VCP is important. You said, listen, visibility, credibility, and then profitability. And so these things would come into play, you know, with their chair in that. And so we've seen people, and I've encouraged them, don't look at it as the task. Just get started. When it's a snowball effect, you get started, the momentum will build, and you'll see that you'll get through it. And so we've seen, the truth is, I think 2 people have just not been involved. For the most part, 92.08%, whatever it is, has been participating in this. I personally contacted the other 2 yesterday to encourage them, don't give up. My hopes is we will see some participation even with that. If we could see 100% participation, I think that's an awesome statement for a group. And it's not always about, you know, how much you can do, you know, 2/3 of the group. We know 80% of the group can do, but wouldn't it be better if 100%, if you could get almost everyone or everyone involved? Because people are learning that visitors, oh, well, we don't have to have a visitors day twice a year to do this. You could do this throughout the year, and we would never need to do this. And so I think people are kind of getting their eyes opened as to how they can get visitors. And so I think Kelly made mention of that. And so I'm glad he did, because people are seeing new avenues of getting visitors. But we've seen a great culture with the leadership and encouraging others, going and help people. And so that's been the biggest thing.
Thank you, Scott. So what we try to do is give you a cross section of people within the region that, and not everybody, like I said, was all in from the beginning, but what they've learned. And we haven't, and the Visitors Day hadn't even happened yet, guys. So our Visitors Day is next week. And we decided to do a regional Visitors Day. And what that meant is, in our letter that we sent out, it said, hey, we have 3 chapters in a core group in BNI Greater Golden Triangle region, and you can pick any day you would like to attend. What do you mean? I'm in the All-Stars. I don't want to invite everybody in my chapter. Well, people are not going to tell you no 4 times. So if they can't come Thursday because it's not a good time, it's still going to benefit everyone if I register them for Scott and them's chapter. So I registered them for that chapter. So what's happening is we're working as a team, and we're registering not just for our own chapter, but we're registering to give everybody that same benefit. So we currently, as of this morning, we had 56 registered visitors for our region for next week. We have a meeting on Tuesday, a meeting on Wednesday, and a meeting on Thursday. Now, I fully expect we will finish over 100, because the second phone calls are being made now. You cannot shortchange the process. You cannot not call, and you cannot get with your accountability partner. I was on a chapter meeting this morning with a chapter and saying, hey, how can we help? Who's struggling? One of our members has COVID and she is struggling. So we're going to all chip in and we're going to help her. So it's all about coming together as a team and trying to figure out how we can make this successful. But like I said, I could go through a couple other slides just to kind of tell you what it looks like if you guys are interested. You fill your chapter by looking at who's missing and how would a person in that profession help not just you, but the entire chapter. You use that contact spheres to look at that. The next slide, Trish. So what does a successful visitor days look like? This is kind of the outline. One of the things I would do differently if we do it, when we do it again, is add another week for calls. Because the first week is, you know, I actually was the one who presented the Visitors Day to the chapter and told them what the expectations were. And the expectation is that every single member sends out a minimum of 40 letters. And I put in there, better members will do more, i.e. Bonnie, who did 90. She forgot about the phone calls, right? And we give them all the worksheets to do it. That's week 1. Week 2 was where they have one more week to get their letters, because that second week they brought the confirmation sheet of all the people they're going to send the letters to. The third week they actually brought the letters to the regional office. Week 4 they called, say, hey, I just wanted to check with you. I sent you a letter, an invitation to meet my referral partners. Wanted to make sure you got it, number 1. Number 2, which meeting would you like for me to register you for? And people respond to that. And then you write down what you were able to do. The next week, your accountability partner, who Natasha and I assigned each other accountability partners because we didn't want this to be a friend game. We really wanted to make sure that all this work would come to pass. So we assigned accountability partners. And if you did not do your letters, at this point, you weren't a part of the process. So it was funny because when I sent out the email and said, thank you, here are the accountability partners, I had people call me, well, I didn't get an accountability partner. Well, you didn't do letters. Well, I mailed them on my own. Okay, that wasn't the recipe, but thank you very much for mailing them. How many letters did you mail? Well, I did 50. Okay, great. Let me sign you an accountability partner. So it was funny because I had people begging me for an accountability partner. That was kind of cool. And then this week we're doing the second phone calls. And then next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have 4 meetings where we will have 100+ visitors attend those meetings via Zoom. And one of the things I know Kelly said, because I kept telling him, just trust the process, Kelly. I promise you there are people sitting at home looking for an opportunity to figure out how they're going to grow their business, and you're going to give it to them when you call. So it's all about the mindset and talking to them about it. And then you talk about a lot of other things. Then we talking this week at the meetings of what they need to do. Everybody's a visitor host. You get to the meetings, even if it's on Zoom 15 minutes early. We're talking about, we'll be meeting with our visitor host coordinators to assign strategic breakout rooms. If we already have the registration, we know there's 4 plumbers. We're going to put them in one breakout room, right? Because the fear of loss. So we'll have multiple breakout rooms on these visitors days within these meetings to make sure that we really are hard closing the visitors on this particular day, because we're not going to do all this work and not have the results that we expect. Okay. So we talk to our members about acting as a host. We use the chat bar to really get engaged with them, and we're coaching all that right now. And then the visitors day is next week. So I have no idea what this will net, but I can tell you, I think it's been wildly successful because we've had attitudes change. We're starting to change culture, and people are understanding the value of what we're doing, and that we could do this week in and week out within our meetings. We don't have to do a visitors day to do this. So we're very hopeful that this is the beginning of a really great experience with visitors in our weekly meetings. If you'll keep going, let me show you a couple of worksheets that we passed out to get people to help. Everybody has seen this. This is probably a 10-page list of professions. The one, go back one, Trish. And instead of trying to think, who can I invite? Look at that and say, so who do I know that's an accountant or CPA? Oh, I know Tom, John, and Harry. And you put them down there, and then you send them an invitation. You don't have to have a personal relationship with these. It's just people you know. So when you go by this list and you do it by profession, you're going to be shocked at the number of people that you know. Because Kelly kept telling me, I don't know 40 people. I'm like, Kelly, you know 40 people. So you go through this list. That's one way of getting people to invite. And then the next list is your contact sphere list. Everybody should have seen this. And it's what's your contact sphere and who's in that, especially who is not in your chapter that you would like to see in your chapter. And you also invite from this list. So these are your 2 worksheets to get to the next list. One more. This list is the people that you're actually going to send letters to. One thing I did it on a spreadsheet. I would add an email address, because to register them, you have to have an email address. And then it's going to show, you're going to log if you called them and whether or not you invited them. And then that way, when your accountability partner calls, they're going to say, hey, I know Kelly talked to you last week and he's got you registered. You're still coming to the meeting on Tuesday, right? And they're yes. So you're marking them was a yes confirmed or no, or something's changed, or maybe it was a no, you turned into a yes, because your accountability partner may say something that appeals to them more than what you did. And then all this stuff, there's a accountability chart every week. You're turning stuff into your president. And this just kind of shows you some best practices, just a little flow chart. But the key is also the leadership team getting on the same page and understanding what you hope to gain from this and communicating those expectations out to your membership. Okay, I think that's it, huh? Oh, this is a sample of the letter. You can see that I've done Visitors Day before, but it was only for a chapter. What was so cool for this, and you guys have more chapters than us, is that when we listed all 3 of those chapters, man, it was our brand. It was a big deal. Okay, you can't come to my chapter. Well, surely you're available Tuesday or Wednesday. Which day would you prefer? Right? They're not going to tell you no 3 times, I promise you. So we put this letter out like that, and it worked. So we have members from every chapter inviting to other chapters, and it's kind of cool. So we give you this letter, and I put it on my letterhead and put my business card in there. And then this is kind of where the chapter leadership team has to tell you what their vision is for Visitors Day. You have to have goals. And that's it. And I promise you, with what y'all have, with 10, we have 10 chapters now, Mark, 8, 10, 8. Man, if y'all did a Visitors Day in a week and did a regional, oh my God, if we're going to have 100 people, yeah, I don't know how many, it'd be crazy. Now, are we going to have to adjust the agenda? Absolutely. And we're going to do that. We'll talk about that on the forum on Monday. But, and we're going to structure the agenda where we're truly selling the visitors. We're building this brand, and with what we've done through COVID with, in the chambers and other organizations giving BNI and building the brand, people want to be a part of this. They're calling us now. So this is going to be huge. And with 8 chapters, oh my God, it would be off the chart what y'all could do. And I'm excited if y'all would choose to do something like this. And I don't know how many people are on this call, but you guys could be the catalyst of carrying that message back to your chapters and say, why are we not doing a Visitors Day? This is phenomenal.
Mary Alice, thank you so much. This was amazing. I haven't seen Visitors Day in a million years, and my mind is just blown that you guys are doing this via Zoom, and I think it's amazing. Thank you to Bonnie and Kelly and Charlie and Scott. You guys did an amazing job sharing your testimonials today, and we have about 5 minutes if anybody has questions for any of the 5 of them. Come off mute.
Well, and this is Natasha, and I just want to add that the key to this is following the recipe week by week, having that weekly accountability, because we've kind of talked with some of our members that are like, you know, why do we have to have those turned in this week? Well, it's because if I would tell you they're due next week, then you're going to have 2 things due, and it's going to be overwhelming. So don't let yourself do that. It's broken up strategically and intentionally to where it's a little bit at a time, and you're able to hold each other accountable and get to the finish line. So follow the recipe.
You know, Natasha, there are 9 people in our region of about 75 that did not participate. And our memberships are set up to have and have been having conversations with them. And some of them have said, you know what, I can't do 40, but by gosh, I'll do 20 now. Okay, great. Thank you. Great. I mean, some is better than none, right? It's about engagement. It's about membership committee getting that backbone. And so, I mean, people have real life situations. We have 2 that are brand new members that just got inducted last week. We were not going to ask them to do the letters, but I think they are the ones we're strategically, that are strategically helping those people, the one that's sick. So, I mean, they're still involved, and I'm not saying everybody, I would love for everybody to do it, but there may be real reasons because of life that things are happening. That's okay. But we can't have a conversation with that member about why didn't you participate till we know why they didn't participate, right? And people, the membership committees have it documented, and those people that if they choose not to participate and there's not a reason other than they're not practicing giver's gain philosophy, then, you know, I don't know. Is it worth their membership? I don't know, but it is part of the accountability, and that says so in policy number 6. So we just have conversations with them. We're not mad at them. We still like them, but you know, it's not fair for 92% of the people to do something. I guarantee you they'll be at the meeting to benefit from all those visitors in the room, right? So you have to have those conversations too. So just don't be that member, you know, just get engaged and do it. And I'm telling you, it is fun and exciting.
Mark Taylor, I see you're off mute. You have 2 minutes.
I think it's amazing. So a couple things. One, I'm taking down everything y'all are saying. That's great. 2, you know, in a few minutes we're going to click off of this phone call, and I know I've got some folks on this call that are going to want to meet y'all. Bonnie, I've got some folks over in Houston would like to make some connections with people in the Beaumont area. That goes for even you, Kelly, and others. And so, Natasha, would you wave your hand there? So my folks that don't know, Natasha owns the BNI region out of Beaumont, okay? She speaks fluent BNI. She is a giver deluxe, and so is Mary Alice. So what I want to know is when we get off this call, there's lots of other great topics that we would like to have with y'all. And we would like to network with y'all and do business together and through each other. So can we maybe do that in the future? Pretty please.
I said anytime. I've had several one-to-ones.
Anybody in BNI Houston East, would y'all like that? Should we kind of figure out a plan to fraternize with these folks on a regular basis? What do you think? What do you think, Kathy Cortez? Should we do that? Okay. All right. So, I mean, there's just lots of value here. And so not only just on this Visitors Day that we get lots of great information, but I mean, I think you all got lots of great ideas that we could benefit from.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you everyone for being here. There was a question out there, so if you do have questions, please reach out to Mary Alice or to Natasha, make contact with them, get your questions answered about doing a Visitors Day. I think this would be an amazing activity to take part in. So you guys are all awesome and amazing. Thank you for being here for What You Need to Know Wednesday on July 15th, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tricia.
Hey, Tricia.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, thank you.